you do if your dream suddenly turned into a nightmare at the airport? Imagine flying thousands of miles from your hometown in India to the US, all set to begin a new life, and then within hours you are handcuffed, crying and pinned to the floor like a criminal. A video of an Indian student being handcuffed and pinned to the floor at Newark Airport in the US is going viral. And it's not just disturbing, it's heartbreaking. The student, crying and disoriented, was supposed to board a flight back home. But instead, he ended up flat on the ground, treated like a criminal. And the worst part, no one even knows who he is, where he was studying, or what exactly went wrong. So hi, this is Khadija and you're watching the Free Press Journal. So let's walk you through the full story and then try to answer the question that's on everyone's mind. How could something like this happen to a student who came to the US chasing dreams, not causing harm? The video was shared by Kunal Jain, an Indian-American entrepreneur who says he was flying on the same flight as the student. He wrote on social media that he personally saw the young man being detained, crying and handcuffed at the Newark Airport. Jain was shocked. He called the treatment inhumane and a human tragedy. And he didn't stop there. He tagged the Indian Embassy in the US and even External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, urging them to intervene and help the student. Jain mentioned that the student seemed to be speaking Haryanvi, and from his tone it was clear the student had no idea what was happening to him. Jain added, he came chasing dreams, not causing harm. As an NRI, I felt helpless and heartbroken. And let's be honest, anyone who has studied abroad or sent their child overseas would feel that same fear and same anger watching that video. Now here is what you should know. Media outlets have not independently verified the video or the identity of the student. There is no official confirmation yet about his name, university, or what exactly led to his deportation. But the video, very real, very raw, has sparked nationwide outrage, not just among Indians abroad, but right here in India. People are demanding answers. Why was the student treated like this? Who gave the order to handcuff him? And what crime did he commit to deserve such public humiliation? Why was he handcuffed? What actually happened? Let's pause for a moment here and ask the most important question again. Why was this student handcuffed and pinned to the ground? Now, based on all the verified information available so far, including statements from Kunal Jain and the Indian Embassy, there is only one clear reason that has come out. The student could not clearly explain his purpose of visit to the US immigration officers, even though he had a valid visa and boarding pass. This could be due to a language barrier. He was reportedly speaking in Haryanvi. Or maybe he was nervous, scared, or just couldn't communicate well under pressure. Jain mentioned that the boy looked disoriented, which suggests he might not have understood what was going on. But here is a very important fact. Under US immigration laws, even if a person holds a visa, entry is not guaranteed. At the airport, officers from US Customs and Border Protection (CBP) have full authority to question travelers. If someone is unable to clearly state why they are entering the US, or if their answer seems inconsistent, CBP has the right to deny them entry and deport them the same day. However, and this is the most painful part, there is no rule that says someone should be handcuffed or pinned to the floor just because they fail to answer properly. That kind of physical restraint is usually used only when someone is violent, aggressive, or a security threat. But in the video, the student is crying, not fighting. So then, why the extreme reaction? Was he resisting? Was he trying to run? Or was this just an overreaction by airport authorities? From what we see in the video, he wasn't a threat, which makes us feel less like a legal process and more like a harsh, humiliating act against someone who was already in distress. And that's why so many people, students, parents, and NRIs are speaking out, because even if the student was going to be deported, he didn't deserve to be treated like that. Meanwhile, the Indian Embassy in New York has responded. In an official statement, they said they are aware of the social media post and are in touch with the US authorities regarding the incident. They also assured the public that they remain committed to the welfare of Indian nationals. But is that enough? People online are now asking bigger questions. Is the US still the dreamland it used to be? Is it worth sending your child there, spending lakhs on education only to risk this kind of trauma? Some people online have even criticized Kunal Jain himself, asking why he didn't stay and try to help that student if he was so heartbroken. Others said maybe the student had entered illegally or don't follow proper visa procedures. But again, there is no evidence for that. And even if something went wrong on paper, does that justify being treated like a criminal? There are people who are writing different kind of comments. Then there are those who say maybe it's a blessing. If he is deported back to India, he is coming back to a rising superpower. But no matter what, this story has forced all of us to ask one very basic question. Are Indian students really safe abroad? And if tomorrow this happens to your son, your daughter, or your younger sibling, would you just accept it as procedure? So that's it for now, and we will continue tracking this story as more facts come out. The identity of the student, the university he was attending, or even what exactly happened during the immigration interview, all of that is still unclear. But what is exactly clear is this. Somewhere in the airport, a student with dreams in his eyes was pinned to the floor crying for help, and no one stood beside him. And maybe that's the real tragedy here. So for more such stories and to stay informed, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the Free Press Journal. And what do you think? What are your views on this? Do let us know in the comments.